Good morning. My name is Scott Rudd, the Chief Strategic Officer at T3Live.com.
And I'm Brittany Umar, and together we bring you Morning Call Express. We are seeing mostly green arrows around the world as most markets put in pivot bottoms last Thursday. And then in our markets, we got upside follow through on that solid jobs number.
Yes, the roller coaster ride. How could you have handled it? Well, it seems like there were a lot of pivots to handle. You know, as far as our markets, we started seeing some technical damage add up. And if you were out of the way going until late last week, you know what? There was a lot of opportunity, actually both ways. You know, you look here at the SPX and you will see that, you know, ever since this doji top at the Alibaba new issue or the Scala and Vote, we've been negative to the downside. This is when most guys get out of it on an active level when we break the 8-21. That was right around, what was that, 1990. Then remember we tried holding this 1965, couldn't take back the 50-day time to sell, and then boom, 150-day held. 1941 got reclaimed, and then it was good to see good news being good news. So we have a big range here from the low of 1926 all the way back into the 1970s, right into the moving average. I'd say, you know, take some profits into here. Maybe the market stalls. I'd like to see some packing and filling, and if we could, you know, hold a decent size of this at some point, perhaps, you know, we set up a new descending trend line to take out. But right now, be a little cautious into this gap up. Maybe trim and trail. You know, and some might even try a cute little short.
Well, let's map out some key sectors then to see where we stand heading into this week. What would you say are the two strongest sectors and the two weakest?
Well, I'd say the two strongest right now is technology and bios. You go to the Qs, you could see just from relative strength. You know, we didn't even get down to the 100-day on the Qs, and we're right back in the range. So nice little red dog reversal here too, and looks pretty set up. Okay, at this point, if it could go sideways and stay over just say 97.44, at some point technology could take the lead. And at this point, you look at the IBBs also, where it's supposed to be so speculative. This just came down to the 50-day, not the 100 to 150, and look how close it is to the highs back above the 8-21-day. If we see the bios break out this week, I'm sure some market participants will say, wow, there's appetite for risk, and they would start covering shorts in other spots.
Well, and in terms of individual stocks, some stocks are acting well, but some look like they do still need some more time. Apple, which has been somewhat out of play, is getting tight. Are you watching that for a breakout?
I haven't been overly involved in it, but I'm watching it. They have another event. It's hugging the 50-day and holding it. You look at the chart. It's just, you know, taking its time, and it's digesting a huge move. We've seen a big move from the low 70s all the way to here. Short term for trading purposes, it's got to get back above 100.70 to, you know, get some momentum back. And if for some reason it starts to get weaker and loses the 50-day, I think, you know, people will notice, and that's somewhere around 99.30. So it's in this inside range. I will be watching it and looking for a trade here this week.
And we've been talking about the lack of momentum in stocks like Netflix and Tesla, but both of those names had nice action towards the end of last week. So do you think they've reclaimed their go-to status that they once had?
For last week, we'll see if there's commitment to it, and there's been a lot of two-way trades. People have been crying that there's been no shorting opportunities. Well, you had them, and then you also had your spots to buy. You look quickly at Tesla. This is when, you know, it had that upper pivot and then resolved to the downside, and then it's been continuing to the downside. Then remember, it showed relative strength Wednesday. That was your spot maybe to cover, and then boom, Elon Musk sends out a tweet, and then you get a gap up above the descending channel here, and then some follow-through. So with that being said, you have some resistance into this 260 short term, so this easy part of the trade is out of the way, but it's back above the moving average. Let's see if that continues. Same thing with Netflix. Netflix broke here, okay? So if you sold it when it broke the 8-21 day around 475, you know, you had the luxury to retry it again when it broke back above it. So if you're moving your feet, these are the two stocks to move them with. Showed strength on Thursday, follow through. Now it needs a little bit of time again.
And over in social media, Twitter showed relative strength last week, reclaimed all key moving averages, made new highs. Do you think that can continue, and could Facebook follow?
You know, if you look real quickly at the chart of Twitter for relative strength, this was Thursday. Thursday, it closed above the 8-21 day. Lots of high beta names did not. That's why I was long it, and I'm still long it. This is what happened on Friday. So looks pretty good. Now you go back to the weekly chart and you just see where it can go. Looks like the next spot it can go is around 60. Facebook not quite as strong, but hanging in there. Okay, at this point, if you want to be super active, trade verse 77.26, and if it gets back above 78, then, you know, the highs are not too far away.
And a quick metals check. You know, Scott has been saying to avoid gold. It just made new lows for 2014, so clearly that was a good call. What do you think is next? You know,
we're right back to now to macro support again. If you look here at the GLDs, you'll see, we've been looking at the technicals here for a long time. And once this broke this 125, this pennant, it was in a void. You could have been selling here around 122 out of the way versus sitting in it and waiting for this. You go to the weekly chart. Last time it was at a macro support like this was back here. Okay, so when it broke this, that was one big spot for maneuvering. If like, I'm just going to sit in it here, it's gold. Look what happened to you. And now you're all the way down here at macro support again. Your new pivot is 114.61. If it gets below there, you really don't have much support all the way down to here, which is around 102. It's very oversold right now. See how it handles this. But overall, lots of spots to maneuver on every time frame. I'd be careful.
All right, and that is your Morning Call Express. Happy trading. Have a great day.